I don't know if I'm just too big event pilled for me to be like impressed by this show. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's my intro.
Hey, I'm Amanda. I'm professionally curious and talk for a living. And you're watching Swell Entertainment, the channel where I talk about whatever I'm obsessed with that week and share it with you. And this week we are talking about auto shows, but specifically the Detroit Auto Show. We're also going to talk about the LA Auto Show because I did just go to both. And I do think that my experience with the LA Auto Show gives some necessary context to the Detroit Auto Show. I was given some information about Detroit Auto Show before I went. I was told that it was like the largest auto show in the country, is what I was told. I have no idea if this is true or not. Part of me doesn't think this is true. It doesn't think it can be true. Now, Detroit is like, the Motor City. There is a lot of industry that happens there. A lot of, Ford is there. There's a lot of manufacturing that happens there for the auto industry. So I think I was like just primed for it to be bigger than it was. And then I went to this thing and I was just like, cool. It is always cool to see like a lot of trends in the industry happening here as well. There's not a ton of things that were like innovative in my opinion. We got some F1 reveals. That's cool, I guess. I think I was also just spoiled because the LA Auto Show was so much more dramatic and involved, if that makes sense. And then here it definitely felt like there was more, like a physical number of cars. There was definitely more here, but LA was cooler. And even that one, I was like, I only need to go for a day. Okay. So let's talk about the Detroit Auto Show. I had a media pass. This is an actual media credential. These holes did not come with the badge. I will explain that later. I'd bought tickets for the public shows and then the industry show days originally, and then we submitted me for media, and then they approved me for media, so I got a media badge. Like, it really is that simple. I have a Swell Entertainment. I get views. A lot of places like that. No one reached out to me. I submitted myself. That is often how media works. But you can buy tickets to the media days. So let me pull up those costs for you. Every time I'm like, I'm gonna make sure I'm so ready to go so I don't annoy William. And then every time I'm doing things while filming and he's like, wow, this bitch. 1 2-day media and industry days ticket, that was $83.07, and that's all together. And then for a 1-day adult ticket for the public show day was $26.48. I did have to buy public show days separately. This did not get me into the public show days. This only got me into the media days. So I did still use the tickets that I paid for the other days that I went. Do I think I needed to go to those other days? Yes, because this is my job. I review attendee experiences, so I knew I was going to go to a public show day regardless of whether we got the media credential approved or not, just because this is my job and it entails me going to what is available to be purchased, even though the media days were also available to be purchased. So thought that was, relevant to attend to. So I went to town on Wednesday, and that day as I was flying in, I got an email from Ford. It was like an auto email. It sent to me and a couple other people. I'm assuming it because I had a media pass, inviting me to an open to the public event, Ford's Detroit Proud Off-Road Edition. That was Wednesday before the show started. And that one, you actually didn't need any credentials or anything like that for the auto show. You could just go to that if you got the email and you knew how to apply. So I got approved. That literally hit my inbox while I was on my flight over, and then I just bundled up and went over there because it was cold. Yeah, a big thing here, and why my voice sounds like this maybe to you. I'm a California princess. I'm born and raised here. It's a nice temperate 75 right now in Los Angeles. I don't think I'm built for Detroit, and that's okay. It's okay to acknowledge that. It's okay to acknowledge that I am not built for cold climates. I was bundled up, but still, my sinuses decided to revolt immediately. So I sounded like this most of the time I was in Detroit. But let's pause talking about cars for a second to talk about something that's also important to me, self-pleasure. Our sponsor for today's video, Lilo, is here just in time for Valentine's Day. And whether you're in a relationship or you're single like me, Lilo has a wide selection of products to help make your day extra special
and enjoyable. Lilo isn't just another toy brand, it's the toy brand. Known for luxury design, premium quality, and innovative tech, Lilo is trusted by millions. Lilo always makes sure I'm well taken care of, and this time they sent me the Lilo Switch, a double-ended wand vibe. With dual usage designs, you got 2 ends for 2 different types of pleasure, 2 different vibrating motors, so you got double the intensity, 16 vibration intensities, and 10 powerful modes. And obviously, I really like the purple. Now, Lilo has a ton of incredible deals for Valentine's Day, and what's even better is you can use my code SWELL15 to stack on top of those already available discounts. Again, that's code SWELL15 for 15% off your purchase, and you can go ahead and click the link in the description box to check Lilo out for yourself. Thank you again to Lilo for sponsoring this video.
Off-road event was open to the public provided you had an RSVP, so I went over there, and it was like trail gating, reveal program begins, event ended at 8.
They want us to turn our phones off, which is not happening.
And I just walked over there. I was staying really close. It was at Huntington Place, which is where the Detroit Auto Show was. And this was cool. They had food available. They started with like trail gating, which I assumed was tailgating, but they didn't want to call it like Ford gating because it sounded too much like fornicating. So they went with trail gating, which is just like on a trail. I don't know why. Okay, I feel like we could have just called it tailgating, but they wanted the off-roading get out in a nature trail thing in there. Okay. Anyways, it was fun. I immediately went to like the chocolate mousse to start, Red Bulls, all of that out there. And then they showed one of the new cars that they were working on. They did a full big event. This setup was cool. I love cool booth designs. And like, I also love when you're doing a big reveal of a show like this, when you have like actual care in the setup. So like they were, you know, speaking and standing on like these giant rock slabs on the front. But when they brought the car out, they drove it around the stage and then up on top of the rocks. That was like actually rocks and dirt and stuff on the stage setup, which is sick. I love an off-roading demo like that. That's a very clear demo, low-key terraforming shit. You know, that's fun. I appreciate that.
So this is standard flooring, and then this is dirt, and those are rocks, slabs that they had the car drive up on from the back of stage. Effective. I like it. I appreciate it. I love showmanship, so this is fantastic.
They did a couple of different reveals. They talked about, you know, their involvement with wanting to do more with search and rescue. They've already gifted 2 cars to various search and rescue teams around the country, and they want to gift 3 more. I don't know if at the time, if they've already gotten those like sent in of like teams requesting for these cars to be brought in. These Broncos. Yes, I'm remembering this was a week ago now, almost, as I'm filming this. But I think that's really cool that they're doing that. They also brought out the team that built their own race car, Ford and Carhartt doing a partnership to try and get more people into auto tech programs, which is cool. I don't know. I thought this was a fun event and wrapped it up and then went back to my hotel. That was kind of it. The 15th is when Ford did their big event with Red Bull to reveal the new F1 2026 season's car. I want to make it abundantly clear, I was not with Ford this week, so I did not go to that. Someone asked me because they thought that someone told them that I had been with them. I was not. They thought I was there as media. I was not. This did not get me into that. That's just for the auto show, so I want to make that clear. I was not at that event. I watched it on the stream with everyone else. There was a free like fan zone thing outside. I was able to get tickets to the 10 to 1:30 time slot, except it snowed. So I just didn't go to that. There was one that night as well that was like a whole thing happening. I just didn't go. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, media day.
This is some of what's in the lobby. These are the cars for the 250th anniversary of America. There's more down there, so I'm gonna have to make sure I go down there later. But there's cars. Sometimes I feel so goofy, like explaining what I'm doing, but like it's to help William with editing later, so he knows what he's looking at, because I know what I'm looking at, but like he doesn't. He's just like, Amanda gave me footage, so I have to explain things, and I feel silly in the moment, but it's all right. Makes things easier.
I do think if you want to go to the Detroit Auto Show and you want to like actually do some ride-alongs and things like that and have space and time and all of that, I don't know if it's worth the money for the fee, you know, to go and do this, but the crowds are way less, and so you get mostly the same experience with far less people.
Also, I want to make it very clear because sometimes you guys are like, oh my god, there's no one there. It's media day and it's not even 9 yet. I'm just a psycho that gets up early to make myself adjust to a time difference. That's why it's empty. Wait a little longer and you'll see the actual crowd size come Saturday.
I did all my ride-alongs on these days for a couple of different ones. Some still had long lines. Anytime there was a Charger, that line was long. Never even bothered to get in that line. It was very funny. It's the car that goes the fastest. So, of course, there was people that wanted to get in it. They're doing the ride-alongs inside the convention center, which is cool. Cool to see the movability of some of these cars. Doesn't impress me because I would want to drive them. I like a test drive. I don't want to do a ride-along, you know? And sometimes they call it the same thing back and forth. Like, oh, do you want to do a test drive? And it's like, if I'm not behind the wheel, this is kind of useless for me. Like, oh yes, if I want to be a passenger princess for the rest of my life, this would be super cool. Let me go buy this car for someone else. I think you really can't get a good feel for a car unless you're behind the wheel of a car. You know what I'm saying?
Did a Jeep Wrangler ride along, film the whole thing. We'll probably do a Girly Pop Go roundup video of all the different ride alongs that I do. Probably gonna try and get a few more in today is the goal. But let me go peek at the Ford store first.
The off-roading and capabilities of, say, the Jeeps and the Broncos and things like that, very cool. I always like seeing, you know, how they can do the hill climbs and the different experiences, the sideways driving of these cars and things like that. Obviously, these are maximized to show various angles, but also maximized to safely show these angles. So one thing, take it with a grain of salt, but is cool to show people, especially if they've never experienced something like that before. If you have like actual questions about the cars or you want to do a write-up, you're getting into car reviewing and things like that as a creator, making car content and things like that, this would be cool because you can get your questions answered. They had a lot of people walking around at all these setups.
You got climbs happening already. It's always so funny to see them in person.
Got Jeeps. We have pretzels. Let's go.
On the media days, a bunch of the food stands and stuff are not open, like around the space. There's less people there. A bunch of booths just straight up didn't open up. They had the military, the Army out there, Marines, the Detroit Grand Prix for IndyCar out. They had a whole thing out. You could do a podium celebration stuff. Very fun. I will say, your guys' map system, horrible. Bad. The amount of people that I spoke to who didn't even know there was like a downstairs area, like Hall E was a thing, until I was like, what did you think of the cars downstairs? There's cars downstairs? Because their maps just showed the top floor, and then if you looked, it would say like elevator to Hall E or whatever, but like, why would I assume that that's open? I don't know. Some people made it a little more obvious, like during the public show days, and obviously if you're familiar with the convention center, it probably is much easier. Obviously I'm not, but still went down there, and that is where they had a lot of people that brought their own cars, a bunch of detailing custom companies, things like that had cars out. Very similar setup to the LA Auto Show where they did something a lot similar where the basement area was used for like a variety of cars and stuff and a couple of different like fun vendors. There was a tank. The US Army revealed a new tank, and this is where it was. It was downstairs. They had it cornered off like it was in its own VIP section because it was a tank. Let me read you this email actually, because I was in Mexico when I got this, and I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Army to unveil newest tank at Detroit Auto Show, unclassified. For the first time ever, witness the future of armored warfare, 3 exclamation points. Next week, join us as the U.S. Army to unveil M1E3, Abrams' early prototype of the 2026 North American International Auto Show. As we provide a first look at the future of armored warfare with the public debut of the M1E3 Abrams early prototype. God, this is horrible grammar. This is your chance to see the next generation of battlefield innovation up close and personal. This cutting-edge tank is loaded with revolutionary features designed to dominate the battlefield of 2040 and beyond. We're doomed, aren't we? Like, we're totally doomed. The director of Public and Congressional Affairs sent this out. Anyways. There was a tank. And some of the cars down here were cool. Custom jobs, some vintage cars, things like that. Oh my God, some of these were so dirty.
McLaren. Porsche. Ooh, clean off that hood. What are we doing? Ew. Be nicer to the Porsche. What are we doing? Oh, this is such a pretty color too. It looks so pretty if it was clean. God.
You're gonna bring your car to a car show, clean your goddamn car. Oh my God. There shouldn't be enough dust on the hood of your vehicle for me to draw a penis in it if I want to reach over the line to do it. Just saying, come on, let's take some pride in our cars at a car show. A lot of these are just like more modern cars that people have put like a drifting drive shaft in. That's kind of it. And I don't know, maybe I'm spoiled. I grew up going to like vintage car shows in like a fairgrounds parking lot, you know, where like we've got cool old Model Ts and like Batmobiles that dudes have made in their parents' garages. You know, like those are like fun and cool. Like I like that. Some of these are just like, yeah, we put a roll cage inside like this Camry. And that's a self-report because I drive a Camry, you know? But like, I don't know. I see some daily drivers and I'm just kind of like, all right. Also, oh my God, Toyota. Hi. I love my Camry. I want to make that abundantly clear. You guys have the ugliest car color ever launching right now. What is that yellow? It's like baby food puke yellow golds. What is that? Mustard? If I see your car with this color of car, I'm not going to key it, but I'm going to give you a thumbs down the same way I do to a Cybertruck. It's so ugly. Whose idea was this color? This is hideous. I'm so sorry. Toyota's never going to work with me again because they're like, wow. She hates this one color of the car. It's so ugly. Anyways, I love my 2016 Camry. So that's part of it, is like the variety of cars and things like that. And there are like a good amount of cars here. But then I think back to the LA Auto Show. The convention center just felt bigger at the LA Convention Center. Now that's the convention center I'm at a lot. Okay, same with Pasadena Convention Center, same with the Anaheim Convention Center. Like I go to so many convention centers, okay? And so the space at some of these spots, I'm like, yeah, this feels meh. Just straight size comparison wise, I would say that the LA Auto Show was probably bigger. And the thing with the LA Auto Show as well is that it just felt more intentional and glamorous, frankly. The easiest way I can explain this, because as I said, I love a dynamic booth design. Like I like something that feels very intentional, very custom to the event, to what the brand is trying to do with that event. And I think a good example of the difference between LA and Detroit is Subaru. This is not a dig at Subaru in particular. I just think this is a very good example of the differences between the two. Subaru is also how I got these little puppy marks on my badge. They had puppies. They were working with the Michigan Humane Society, which is really cool. All the puppies that were in their booth were available for adoption. And they brought different puppies each day, which I did think was nice as well. I don't know if that's because the puppies that they'd brought previous days before were adopted. I hope so. But this was done by Layla. She was the most precious little, I think she was 3 months old, I believe. She was very sweet, and she loved to chew on things, and she specifically wanted my badge and not her chew toy. Very cute, adorable, precious.
They're confused. So that way you guys are on back. Oh.
What if I just cry?
But Subaru does, I believe, a partnership with the national parks here in the United States. Okay, I don't know if you know, Cheeto Man is trying to defund them, among other things, because there's oil and land that they can sell. Lots happening in the national parks. Okay, so this partnership is like a very big deal. Like this is a car company being like, hey, our cars get you out in nature. We need to protect nature and preserve nature. Here's the best way to go and do it. That's a fantastic partnership. I think that's really smart. In LA, it was very clear that this was like a partnership. In Detroit, it felt like they wanted to go with a national park theme, just a little bit with their booth setup. You know what I'm saying? And like I'm saying booth, these are like massive spaces. Booth is just the easiest way for me to explain it versus like area, you know? There's cars on some certain colored carpet and there's a Subaru sign, basically. I don't think I still have footage of the LA Auto Show, but I do have a couple of clips from a little video I did here on a short. And this whole video that you're seeing here is me in the Subaru booth, the Subaru setup, at the LA Auto Show, where they had massive screens you could walk on, drive up to do various reveals of various cars and talk about different, you know, details and specs and things like that. Bunch of cars out, but they had a full like national park trail set up. They built a cabin, like a fire lookout. They had a giant sideways redwood that was walk-throughable, like you can drive through some of the redwood tunnels in the national park. They had real plants and fake plants, so you could have different sensory needs, all attached to Subaru. That's just one area. The only one that I would say had a comparable booth setup where I was like, okay, these appear to be the same bits, is Lincoln. The Lincolns had, I think, the exact same setup of like the cool, like, woven chain backdrop. That seemed to be the same setup, but everything else, like Toyota, cool-ish. More cars, I'll give you that. Honda was there next to Subaru. Honda had a much bigger setup at, you know, LA. They had a version of their car that you could get into, one of their Indy cars. They just, I don't know, it just felt more extensive. Jeeps, I would say, were pretty consistent. They did the hill climb. Same with Ford, I would say, pretty consistent. Also at the LA Auto Show, Spark took over. Spark is a thing you plug into your car and it's like a whole AI thing. I'm doing a review for Girly Pop Go, so I'm not going to go into detail about that. But at the LA Auto Show, they took over the entire hallway between the West Hall and South Hall. They brought in a bunch of cars, including like track cars, race cars, road cars. They designed it like a parking garage. Like people were literally parking their cars in the Spark setup. Cool. There was just way more. You know what I'm saying? Fiat, you guys have, I love this little car you guys have. Fiats, I want to drive a Fiat.
I still am obsessed with this thing.
So, oh my God, the amount of trucks, so many big trucks. It's really hard for me to get excited about trucks. I love a race car. I love a cool track car. I love a functional car. I like my Camry. You know what I'm saying? I like an off-roading car. But like, there's so little need for these massive giant trucks. True. I love a functional truck. I love a K truck. I love a truck that's like the trucks I grew up around, you know, that are like literally my height at 5'2" and have a functional bed length and you don't have to jump 6 feet to get into the cab of the truck. Like those are functional trucks. I like those ones. These ones, I just look at it and I'm like, God, this is going to be what kills me one day, truly. Because like those trucks, if they hit me, it's going to maybe hit my hip, maybe my leg. I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to be in a hospital bed. Surely there might be a bone sticking out somewhere, but like I'll probably live. Then you've got these trucks now and I'm like, it's going to take my head off or cave my face in, maybe my lung. It's hard to get excited and be like, wow, that's so cool, when I'm sitting passenger seat and I can't see over the steering wheel. I can't see over the dash. I can't see over the hood of the car. I'm like, oh, if I can't see this, unless you're sitting on some phone books, I don't know what you can see. You know, it's hard for me to get excited about those and be like, wow, how fast does it go? I can't remember which of the test drives I was doing. The guy at one point, I was like, wow, I can't see the ground. I was like, I can't see the track. And he was like, yeah, you just got to get in the habit of looking up ahead of you. That's how everyone should drive. And I was like, okay, I hear you. The child that's going to dart out into the road is not going to be up ahead of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be right here. It's so hard for me to get excited about those cars. It really is. It really is. So, but there was a lot of those here. I liked seeing, you know, the Cadillac F1 car for the testing that they're going to be doing, the Cadillac style. They're doing a special livery with all the names of the people that brought Cadillac back to the F1 grid. That's really cool. That was fun to see. It's also fun to see like different people get excited about the different things. I also like that they had like a helmet in there, so you had like a person in there. The super fake Pirelli tires were also very funny to see on that. I thought that was fun. Cadillac had like a spec car or like a test car or something like that out that they were like doing like a concept for, and I didn't get the specs of this thing mainly because I looked at the seats for 2 seconds and I was like, what are we doing? Why are we adding hostile architecture to luxury vehicles? I love a functional car. Like my daily driver, I love a functional car. I like comfort. I like to be comfortable sitting in this car. I do road trips. I went to a commuter school, you know, like I spent a lot of time in my car. I want it to be comfortable. Why are we not having padding in these seats? And even then, it's like, unless it's like a full-on track car and we're getting super high speeds, and so that the seat needs to be designed for safety and function and not safety and comfort, you know, then I get it. This car doesn't seem to be doing that though. Why is there a hole cut out? Like we're on the Quinjet. What are we doing? Also, I'm so sorry. Give me back. Stop taking door handles. I don't know why the door handles are the things that like people are like, let's make them inlaid. Do you know how many frozen cars I saw this week? Cars covered in snow and ice when people weren't expecting it. Because the hour of flurries we were supposed to get turned into 15 hours of just straight snow. How are you gonna get your handle open? I should not be inside a passenger seat of a car and not be able to very quickly determine how to get out of that car, you know? Like that, I don't know, the buttons, opening these things from internal, like, I don't know, for safety. Oh, it's cool. It's then, I don't care. How about safety? I need to get out of this car. What if you're unconscious and we're going into the water and I need to get the windows down immediately, or I need to get the door open immediately before the thing starts filling up with water? What's the plan? Give me a door handle. If you really want to make something disappear, the mirrors, those things get taken off all the time. If you've ever parked on the street a day in your life, you know the likelihood of someone taking like off your mirror or damaging your mirror on the side of the road. That's 90% of the damage I see is someone trying to tape their mirror back on. Make those detract and then come back out. That'd be great. That'd be cool. Let's do that.
Hey guys, I know I'm from California and I'm not an expert, but I think it's snowing.
I don't know. Just a hunch. I am toasty, but this sucks.
Some of the ride-alongs I was doing, there was no line, so I was chatting with the drivers quite a bit. And one of them, he's like, what do you think of the show? I was like, I admit I was expecting more. And he was like, yeah, no, a couple of years ago, it used to be like crazy and there was so much. And then a lot of OEMs are just not here anymore. It's definitely shrunk a little bit. He was like, yeah, it's more like the Cleveland Auto Show now, which I don't know if Cleveland has an auto show. It probably does. Does the Cleveland Auto Show kind of suck? I don't know. What? That was a very specific comparison. And then I met a viewer as well, and he said that it was more glamorous when he was younger, when he came. This is the first time he's come in a while. And he said it was like just much more, well, he came previously. And yeah, the LA one as well, like there was just, I don't know. This was not going to be a comparison to the LA Auto Show, but I kind of was just walking around like, wow, and I was bored at the LA Auto Show. Like I ended up only going to one day of the LA Auto Show, and that was because it was right after the Las Vegas Grand Prix. I had just gotten back from Vegas. I was fried, but I wanted to go check it out and see if there's any content. Plus, Girly Pop Go, the TikTok page had just started, and I figured it would get me some cool content, which I did. I got quite a lot of videos there. And like, I don't know, this almost made me want to spend more time at that show when I had the opportunity, frankly. Some of the vehicles I did ride-alongs for, I do think I would be interested in doing another test drive for them. The Fiat, things like that. The Jeep was cool. The one Jeep ride-along I did was cool. And yeah, I don't know. Let's shrink trucks in 2026. Well, 2026 models already done. 2027 models. Let's start shrinking trucks again. Let's make trucks small again. Proportional to your size. Just trucks again. The important thing is I think I'm funny. Have you ever been to the Detroit Auto Show? Should I go to a different auto show? Are there any cool auto shows that you've been to where you're like, oh, you got to go to this one? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder to stream on Twitch. Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. Reminder to go Girly Pop Go if you'd like to see more car and motorsport content. All of my ride-along footage, I'll probably edit them all together because I don't think they're long enough to do individual videos for each one. Probably edit them all together so you can see a couple of the different test drives that I did, or test ride-alongs. I keep saying test drives. It's not a test drive unless I'm behind the wheel. If you want to go check those out, that'll be up probably by the time this goes out. And yeah, shout out to my channel members. Thank you so much for supporting me on channel memberships. You also join me on channel memberships. Go ahead and join down below. Like to let me know social media that will be up here, and that's going to be it. Have a lovely day. Goodbye. When I was downstairs, there was a car that was wrapped in like a weed and money wrap, I think for a cannabis dispensary company, I believe. And I've come to realize that there is a font that I now just, even before I saw the rest of it, and I was like, oh, this is AI art, like this wrap design. The font, I was like, that font is spiritually AI, because it's the font that all like the AIs, when they're like making like a standard script, like when you type it into like Midjourney or something, like the standard art like text script, that font now, I'm always going to think it's AI whenever I see it. And sure enough, it ended up being AI, but I thought that was interesting. My brain was like, is that AI? It was.